So do you want to be able to do the handstand like this? But then when you try to jump into it, it looks, you ain't got a clue what you're doing, you don't know how to structure your training, and you don't know how to find that balance or body awareness. So I'm going to show you 3 specific drills in progression order from easiest to hardest to help you to understand the concept of hand balancing. And if you stay tuned towards the end, I'm going to show you an extra progression that's going to help you to take this awareness to the next level. Let's get into it. The first drill is called the frog stand. This is going to teach you how to use your hand to find balance whilst keeping your feet off the ground. This is very, very easy, and many of you can do this within a day. So the first position is to have your hands on the floor and think about it being about shoulders width apart and a little bit wider. When we go a little bit wider, it's going to create more stability because our base of support is going to be much more better in comparison to it being narrow. So have it about shoulders width apart, if not wider. And then I'm gonna bring my inner knees onto my outer elbows. Okay, so if I'm in this direction here, inner knees onto my outer elbows, I am then going to bend my arms lower down until my triceps are parallel to the ground. So my nose are literally really close to the floor. I'm gonna lift one leg up, and then I'm gonna bring the other up like this, and then we're gonna hold. Key thing to take away from this is look at your fingers. You wanna spread them out wide. Pull your fingertips back to create a claw grip. This is going to allow us to be able to grip into the ground. It's going to give us more leverage, right? So do not have your hands closed like this, because you're going to find it really hard to find balance because the base of support is much less. So spread them out as wide as you can. Pull your fingertips back to create an arch here. So same principle applies. You lean forward, bring your nose close to the ground, lift one leg up, followed by the other, and then we're just gonna force that hold. So you're gonna either feel 2 things. Number 1, your weight is gonna go either too far forward, right? Leaning towards that way. And how we counterbalance is we press down into the fingertips to push our body back this way. Now, if you feel like you're falling backwards towards the ground where you're gonna land your feet, you then shift the weight onto the palm, so do this motion, and that's gonna automatically push you back that way, okay? So we're gonna lean in, boom, counterbalance, and remember to breathe. It's very important that you breathe synchronistically by inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth at about 20 to 30% max capacity. So some common mistakes I'd like to show you. A lot of people, they have their hands too narrow, like this. And then when they get into it, their feet dropped, right? Because your elbows are too tucked in. Whereas if we were to widen it out a little bit, this is going to give us a lot more anchor with our knees to hold it in like this. So when we look, we don't want to look back, we want to look about 45 degrees forward. Okay, so let's say this is the lines of my hands. I'm looking about here. I'm in and hold. You may have to tap and hold. Squeeze your core, squeeze your glutes. Another mistake is that elbows are not stacked on top of your wrists. So when people try to do the frog stand, the elbows are like this. That's why they can't get into it, because they're too afraid to fall, right? So you want to lean forward. Notice how my elbows are on top of my wrists. My hips are going to be more aligned upwards. Boom, hold, okay? So these are the 2 main mistakes, which is number 1, 3 actually, hands too narrow. Number 2, fingers are stuck together. And number 3, the elbows are far behind their wrists. Once you're able to do the frog stand for 20 to 30 seconds for 3 sets consecutively, you can move on to the crow pose. So this will be a progression, and it's going to test your balance a lot more. So how we get into this is same principle applies, hands about shoulders width apart, if not wider. Spread your fingertips wide. The only main difference is you're going to rest your knees onto your triceps rather than having it on the side of your elbows here. So stack my knees on top of my triceps. I'm gonna bend my arms. I'm gonna lean forward, lift one leg up, followed by the other, and hold like this. I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out, gripping down into the ground, and come down. So you may feel a little bit of tension in your tricep because a lot of your weight is going to be placed there, but don't worry, give it time, you'll be able to get used to it. So if we were to look at the common mistakes that people do with the crow pose, is that they are not bringing their nose close towards the ground enough. Right, so their arms are still relatively straight, and then when they get into it, they fall. Okay, so what would help is if you bend your arms, your hips are going to shift forward, it's going to be stacked on top of your elbows and wrists, and this is where you're going to find the hold. So look forward in between your hands, 45 degrees, and hold. My hands are always using this as to counterbalance, and also my core is always actively engaged. All right, everything has got to be engaged in order for us to find that control and balance. Remember, if you are falling forward, you grip down into your fingertips to push yourself back this way. And if you're falling backwards, you shift your weight to the palms of your hand to push yourself back the other way. Okay, so aim to hold this for 20 to 30 seconds for 3 sets in a row before moving on to the next progression. Now, if you guys are still struggling with the single leg crow, I'm going to show you the single leg crow progression. This is a hidden trick and my clients have been loving it. Okay, so we're going to find ourselves a wall behind us. Okay, so I've got my post here. I'm going to give myself some room just so that when I kick my leg out, I'm going to be able to stretch it out like this. Okay, so when we get into it, we're going to get into the crow pose. Boom. Okay, stretch my leg out, touch my feet against the wall, squeeze my glute. I'm going to tap off, find that balance, and then eventually hold. Initially, we're going to do one leg for 1 set. Okay, so that was 5 seconds. Take a rest for about a minute, and then we go on to the next side. So if I were to do it on the next side, I feel like that time I was quite far away from the wall, so I'm going to bring myself back a little bit, align myself, get into the crow, kick out, boom, tap off, 1, 2, 3, and hold. Once you're able to do that comfortably, you'll soon enough be able to do the single leg crow. Now we have arrived at the third and final progression for improving hand balancing control and body awareness. We are going to be doing the single leg crow. So the main difference is that you're going to get into the crow pose and then you're going to kick one leg out. And this is going to create lots of instability, which is why we're going to need to be switched on when it comes to balancing this. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. Same applies as the crow pose. Okay. Fingertips spread wide, hands about shoulders width apart, create a claw grip, knees onto the elbows. I'm gonna bend my arms slightly, look forward 45 degrees, lift one leg off followed by the other, kick one leg out, squeeze my glute, and hold. And then we can switch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew, how was that? So when we kick one leg out, this is going to create a lot more instability. So this is where I can tell when someone will have a good handstand. If they can hold a single leg crow comfortably, when they do wall handstand attempts, either back to wall or chest to wall, they're going to be having an easier time holding it. So that is why this progression is key. So in terms of how we do it, when we kick our legs out from the crow pose, right, you don't kick out straight out like this. Because when you do, I'm going to show you. Because when you do, the weight of your leg pulls you down. In fact, you're going to change the trajectory. Think about doing a donkey kick where you kick up and back. And what this will do is it will shift your weight from your body, from your hips towards the front. Okay, so remember, you kick up and back to throw your body forward, not back like this. So if I were to show you, get into the position, up and back, point your toes, squeeze your glute, and hold. Cool. Now, when our weight is going to be shifted to our front, we're going to make sure that we grip down a lot in order to find that balance. So you may not be able to hold it straight away. Give it a couple of sessions and then you'll be able to build balance. A little progression for you that you can do is you can kick out a little bit. So if I get in like that, we hold it here, here, here. In the final crow position, you want to make sure that whatever leg you are kicking out you are squeezing that glute. So like this, squeeze. We want full body tension all the way from our legs, core to shoulders. Finally, the bonus exercise that I'm going to show you is what I like to call the chest to wall single leg taps. We're going to take the lessons that we've learned from the previous 3 progressions and applying it into the chest to wall handstand position, and you may find yourself balancing for 5 to 10 seconds. Okay, so we're going to get into the chest to wall handstand position. Walk your hands and feet back until your hips are stacked directly on top of your shoulders and wrists. We're going to bring one leg away from the wall so that it's stacked on top of our shoulders and wrists. I'm going to tap off with the other leg. Bring the feet together and force this hold. If you feel like you need to come back, that's okay. Recuperate, boom, boom, and force that hold. So with this one, work about 5 to 6 sets, between 45 seconds being upside down. So do tap, 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 taps, hold. As a general rule of thumb, I like to do 5 to 8 taps, single leg, bring my feet together, force that hold. I hope you found this video useful, my Major Calisthenics team. Big love as always. If you found this video useful, please, it'd mean the world to us if you could give us a thumbs up and consider pressing the subscribe button so that way you can come back for more videos like this one. For all online coaching inquiries, different training packages, head over to the link down in the description down below and check it out. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you in the next video.